All right. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Thank you to those of you joining us live for this Q&A call, questions and answers. Doesn't quite ring for me, but that's what we're calling it for now for the Be the Cause Sacred Service Workshop group journey that I'm hosting coming up in October. So yeah, we're here to, we're actually planting the seeds for this magical and practical container of exploring what is sacred service, what is it to be the cause instead of because, um, to be happening to life rather than life happening to you. And yeah, this has been a really beautiful thing I've been shown about how my work comes through best, how to facilitate my sacred service to host these allow different ways for people to interact before the offering even comes into being so that we are actually created together. So the people who are here on this call are really helping set the foundation, even if you don't join us in the journey specifically. And then also what I'm recognizing about when I feel called to offer something is that there's something that everybody like in the whole world is going through, or like a bunch of people are, and the people who connect with connect indirectly with me and with these journeys, I call the constellation. And the way I see that is that there are a whole bunch of souls out there in bodies on planet Earth who we have an intention to connect with each other and to support each other in coming up to speed with who we are, which is a big part of my role, is supporting people coming up to speed with who they are. And facilitating through our own work a great awakening on the planet, which is just spiraling us up closer and closer to our highest and best. So this is very dear to me. It's so special to me that you're here and that you're watching as well. If you're watching the recording, welcome. So we're going to go around really quick just with the people here on the live call, and you're welcome to well in the comments introduce yourself, but we're going to say okay, one of the participants is naked, that's why her video is off. I'm way into I don't know, the whole thing about not being seen naked is really annoying to me in our culture. So just we're gonna go around, just say your name, say where you live, and just real quick, like make it one sentence, or it could even be one word, why you're here today. And I'm just gonna let you guys, what do I want to do to keep it efficient? I'm gonna call on you, and if you don't want to go, just say you don't want to go. Okay. I'm gonna start with Brandy.
Hi guys, my name's Brandy. I am from Las Vegas, and I am here to support my friend Sari and to swim in this energy that she's created. It's been a great journey, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Awesome.
I'm complete.
Welcome. And you say I'm complete at the end, just so it's really clear. That's cool too. I just want to check in. Is the wind loud for you guys at all? It is loud?
A little bit.
Okay, well, let me know if it gets bad. Maybe I'll go in the car. Okay. Hey, Tom, why don't you go next?
Howdy. Tom from Metro Detroit. Part of the Flow group, and you asked me, so I'm here.
Yay.
That's it.
That's reason enough for a projector.
Exactly.
Okay, Heather.
Hi, I'm in the bath. My nodes are in crisis, and there's a big family crisis that I'm dealing with in my family, so I needed a bath. But I'm still tuning in, and yeah, because I really value the community and the guidance and sharing that has been the experience of flow. So, and yeah, the question of sacred service is big time in my life. So, I've got my ears. I'm complete.
Cool. Thank you, love. Yolanda.
Hi guys, I'm Jolande. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm here to see you speak, Sayuri. Yeah, just joining because you asked me, and I'm curious.
Lovely. Thank you.
Hi everybody, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Hi, I'm Aukje and I'm part of the Successful Flow group, which is ending, and I'm just supporting the new vibes and just tuning in with every one of you. So, hello.
Hey, I want to put it out there to the Successful Flow group people. Sandra doesn't know how to get on the call. Could someone message her the link? Okay, Tia's gonna do it. Thank you, Tia. Okay, thank you, Akia. I'm going all random, so I want to make sure I get everything. Yiska.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Yiska. And Aukje invited me to join. So I'm very curious what I'm going to hear tonight. So that's it. I'm from the Netherlands also.
Thank you, love. Laura Sue Hall.
Hi. My name is Laura Sue Hall, and I'm also part of the Successful Flow group. And I'm living in San Diego right now, and I'm here because I think that this is an awesome next step, and I've experienced so much growth since I started this and started working with Sari and the people in the group. And this is the thing that I needed, that I was afraid to do. But it's been really, really great. It's starting to hit me slowly. Over time, it's just been wow. But I definitely want to be part of whatever's next. I feel really great about this. I'm excited. And hello to everyone. So good.
Welcome back.
Thanks, Sari.
I'm not sure if you said my name. Was that Sharon?
Yes, it's Sharon.
Okay. So, hi, I'm Sharon. I live in my heart. My body kind of bounces between Monterey Bay, North Carolina, and Hawaii at the moment. I am here because serendipity flowed me here. I really don't question or know the reason, and don't need to at this point. When I do, I will. I was just wondering, I heard the name Successful Flow, and I was wondering ask if such a thing as unsuccessful flow.
Okay, I think I heard a question about successful flow. Can you not be flow? Your line is breaking up a little bit. There's some feedback, so just a reminder to everybody, like when you're not speaking, put yourself on mute. Doing it too because it's windy up here on the mountain. Would you like to repeat that, Sharon? The last part about the sounded like a question. I think maybe I'm just gonna move on because, oh, there you are. Go ahead. All right, darling, I can't hear you, so just go ahead and mute, and you can message me your question. In fact, right now, I also want to welcome everybody. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat, like I'm just able to see them okay. And then, Tia, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted. I'm trying to help Alexandria get on.
Oh, you want me to?
So she can't register anymore, and all I have is the register link. Maybe I can find the meeting, like, code. Is it the same one you always use?
No, it's you would have gotten one to get here. You can share it with her, and I think she'll probably pop up as you.
Okay, so
on the bottom, there's that little invite button on the very bottom of the screen there.
Oh, nice.
There's a copy URL link.
Nice, thank you. Okay, I just did that, and now I'm gonna message it to her.
Thank you so much. Sacred Service Tech Support.
Yeah, so can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna talk while I'm doing that. Yeah, my name's Tia. I'm in the Bay Area, California, San Francisco area. And I am here because I am actively working on like identifying and creating my sacred service. I'm in the Successful Flow group, and I've had just a really amazing, wonderful experience there. I, over the years, have been in a lot of different practices and groups to like develop different aspects of my creation process. And I found working with Sari that it's a very immersive like experience. It's unique and just super powerful. And so to those who are thinking about joining, I would just say that this is something kind of extra special. And so leading out of that, service is really important to me. I have identified it as the energy of what I need to cultivate to reciprocate like the flow of abundance. And so service is a big part of me creating in a really dynamic way. And so I want to hone in on that. And I also want some change and some shift in my personal career life, and that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you, Tia. And I see Alexander made it. I'm going to move on just for the sake of time, but Alexander's also in our group, and looks like you have your video off, so just a reminder, if you don't want to be on recordings, keep your video off. Okay, so are there any questions that anybody has? I have some questions that to spark our conversation here. So I just welcome you to message in or to turn on your audio and speak up now. All right, so here's a question I have. This was one of the first ones I started asking. What is service to you? what is sacred to you? And along with that, that's why I'm just gonna kind of put like a little tribe of questions out there on this one because they all feel connected to me. Like when you hear those words, like when you hear the word sacred, when you hear the word service, how do you feel? Like what's your default? Like what do you think of? How does that feel in your body, what you think of? Like you know, when I was first exploring successful flow for the group that's finishing up this week, I found that I had like this really manic little cartoon dude picture when I thought of successful flow. And for sacred service, there's something that's like a little bit slimy that I'm noticing is a little bit of a default, or like maybe kind of fake or in question. And I'm wondering if anybody else has a match on that, like feels like a little bit like embarrassed if you were to say like I'm in sacred service. And I'm not attached to anybody feeling that way. It's just something I'm noticing about myself, and also like with some people when I'm talking about it, I feel just kind of like a little shrinking vibe. So does anybody have a hit on that you'd like to share? Any of that about the word, what it means for you? And it doesn't just have to be the creepy version, also the higher version of what feels true for you.
I'm not sure if I'm in the same realm that you're in, but when I think of sacred service, something that has been resonating or playing around in my mind is that how do we charge for a sacred service? If it's sacred, and to me, sacred means unlimited value or something that's intrinsic, that is shared. And if I know something, or if I have a tip for someone, I'm challenged in how do I quantify a charge for that? We're all human. We're all here together. If I got something that'll get you up on the ladder, I just want to pull you up here. I don't want to charge you for it. That's where my mind has been.
Yeah, so there's an uncomfortability with with money being a part of it. Yeah, thank you for bringing that, because I think that is, having been a yoga teacher for 8 years now, and it's just like these are really big issues in our spiritual and healing communities. There are a lot of people who feel like you shouldn't charge for anything. So yeah, thank you. Anybody else have a match with that? Like, ooh, like I gotta eat, but I feel like not in integrity. Maybe I charge for something that's sacred.
Can I talk about that for a minute?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I feel like it's okay to charge for it because, it's an exchange of energy, right? And it's also a way for the other person to show the commitment. It's a way to show commitment, I feel. But it's also good to be flexible with it, like you are actually, being able to give a hand, without receiving anything when you feel like it, but also being able to actually count for it. That's right.
Thank you. Yeah, that's something that. Oh, baby.
So being flexible around that, and yeah. And for me, I love this word sacred service. It's I feel like it's very high frequency kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's being of service, to the divine. And I would not say out loud that's how I feel, but I love this word. Sorry, it's time to talk with baby.
Yeah, that. Looking to see how I saw Sharon had said something.
I had something.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing because I've done body work and tantric work for 20 some years, and I think of that as my work. And if I've done spiritual things like tarot readings or guidance for someone or whatever else, or if I've done ceremony with people, it's always giving a gift. It may be money, it may be tobacco, it may be something that's personal, but some type of exchange. But I've never thought of, I've thought of my work as sacred at times, but that's work. I've never thought of being of service as work. That's it.
Yeah, so what I hear in that is it's a hello to, it's a little bit of a funny pairing, the paradigm that we're coming from for most of our lifetime so far. Sacred service, brings up the word work, and yeah, it's just a little bit like, okay, we've been separating those. And also for me, like the word service has become a sacred word. And I noticed that when I say service to people, like I am like, oh, like service. Oh, you're in service. and there's a little bit of a record scratch pretty frequently, like it's just work. And this is something that I've gotten really clear about in the last couple of weeks with the generators, the human design generators I've been connecting with. One of them being Leah, who's on this call, is that work is sacred. I mean, this is the life of the generator of 70% of people on the planet, and they're here to be satisfied. They're not here to be slaves. And they're incredible builders and very, just such a vibrant frequency they can have on the planet. And when they are in service to their own lives, they are automatically in service to the world. Is how I being a generator, I pick up those frequencies. So really grateful to the generators who work to be satisfied, and the frequency of generators in their life force, their precious gift, life force, to be enslaved by something is really it's very uncomfortable. I hear that I'm breaking up. Is that true for everyone? Yeah. Is it working now? Oh, I just figured. Oh, it says my bandwidth is low. Okay. Oh, cool. I just discovered how to find the chat. So pop it in the chat if you win and if you can't hear me, and I'll do what I can. I am on a mountain and it's windy. Maybe I'll move up to the car. So I see that Laura had said that it makes me feel guilty to receive in exchange for my gift. Yeah, and thank you for bringing that word gift back around. I heard Tom say it too. And, that's really, it's like, is it not a gift if it's being charged for or if it's in exchange? So, it's hiking up the hill here. Really better reception up here.
Can I chime in? This
Go
is
ahead.
Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
I think that one of the things that cleared these questions up for me on some level, because questions are never totally cleared, is understanding, it's taking the status out of both words, sacred and service. And for me, someone that collects my trash is doing a sacred service, and I have no problem paying them for that sacred service. Someone that is giving me a massage is also doing a sacred service. Someone that is out protesting for something that I believe in is doing a sacred service. And sometimes these sacred services are going to have a linear exchange of energies, meaning a linear pay and receive. And sometimes the exchange of payment has to happen in a non-linear way, meaning I have to go out trusting that I will be supported and not necessarily in a tit for tat way. There's the concept of being paid for my services creates more of a attitude of openness to receiving. The actual payment means that someone is there saying, I want to invest in this, and they will be more receptive. But I have also managed to detach myself from how other people will receive the service or what they view as a service from me. And so all of these concepts of linear down should be investigating one's own contemplations when they think of the whole concept of sacred and of service and of sacred service. I mean, to me, a person that doesn't have more in.
So Sharon, I'm loving what you're saying. You're up quite a bit now.
Am I breaking in and out?
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like what you just transmitted was perfect. And I saw some people saying yes with exclamation points in the comments. And yeah, I feel a big yes. Like that is exactly what my intention is for this group, is to for us to create a container where we can really investigate that for ourselves, along with the witness of others. And yeah, I'm so excited to see what we find.
The up down, by creating a more expansive, I don't look at things more and my growth and my learning as an up down thing as much as a expanding or narrowing, deepening or becoming more shallow. So I think in that way of 3D growth, you are growing, including more, instead of growth on the high, actually. And
okay.
So I think if we look at that whole concept.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're breaking up again. So again, like what came through really awesome.
Sorry.
I find that technology kind of can be a really wonderful filter for me as a projector.
I'm going to try to get my micro.
Okay, I'm gonna move on in the conversation. Yeah, so the value judgments. I heard Sharon just say about up and down or high or low and that kind of thing, and good and bad, and and that she likes to use the word expansion, and yeah, that's I feel that feels congruent with this. We have to be careful, and actually our language will show us where to look. When we start using value judgments about our deeper beliefs about what's possible for us, and yeah, really, that I want to highlight this word gift. This is actually the name of my deep dive program that some of you have joined me in for the first time earlier this year, and I'll be offering again next year. It's called Becoming the Gift You Are. And so, you know, this journey is a bite, you know, it's a 6-week journey with others to we'll be tuning in with this intention of like, what is my service? How is, and and not to say that you're not being it right now, but to it's like asking for it to be revealed, so that we can walk with it in integrity and authenticity and joy and satisfaction and success, whatever our other goals and hopes are for our lives. I find until we really like are, you know, vibing with that core essence of who we are, like other things just kind of, you know, trip along. So, you know, sometimes it can be like, oh, like I can feel that I have a sacred service, or I want to be a guide or a coach or a teacher, and maybe even, you know, I am doing that, but wanting it to be just getting, a lot of us get really stumped on the money part, you know, the business part, and that's where, you know, when we're vibrating these beliefs about like not being able to receive for our gift, or giving to get, which is a huge disruptor in the field, you know, like even if you're charging like, you know, way more money than anybody does for your service, if you're giving to get, if you're like doing it for the money, it sours. So I'm going to check in with the content, the comments here, and let's see. Yeah, giving to get feels yucky, is what Brandy said. Yeah, and I see some people agreeing with some things that maybe Sharon said or I said. Laura said, I had for a long time separated the two, service and work. I have some more stories to look into. Yeah, it's like what stories we tell. Cool. So, all right. So a big hello to your body. I'm saying hello to my body right now and just feeling your breath. Noticing your breath. So it's coming up right now for us to take a peek into the space that we've created here today. So just welcome you to close your eyes and lean back or stand up if that's what your body needs to do right now, and feel your breath. And we'll start by just sensing the other people who are on this call and registered for this call. And it's like if you open your inner eye, just like even imagine it, and look around our circle here. And you may see colors or faces or hear sounds or get impressions or have sensations in your body as you just open to how our connection here is showing up for you today. And then from this core group, we're going to say hello to those who are watching the recording. and just open. It's an aperture, which is another word that came through in Becoming the Gift You Are and in Successful Flow, that I feel helps with that. The value judgment habit is to, like a camera, just kind of open or close your aperture. And this first came up in Becoming the Gift You Are after I had birthed my daughter Soleil, and it actually was, well, hello to that cervix is open and close and have an aperture, and we all, are born one way or another. Something opens up to let us out. So hello to the greater circle of people who are joining us. You're also invited to be just leaning back and breathing and seeing how this registers for you. And really what I'm hearing right now is just to receive as well. Like, receive the gifts, receive the service of this call, receive the service of you being here, of you registering, of you watching. Receive the service of these other souls here sharing space. And whatever they're doing, however they're being, somehow they are connected to you. So I'm opening up an invitation now. If anybody has anything they're noticing, just tuning in this way, anything coming through that you'd like to share, and you can just unmute yourself and speak. I'm just going to share something that's up for me right now. Let me just see if anybody else feeling really slow and peaceful and big. Like energy feels kind of big, like stretching. Does anybody feel that? I feel it like a yawn. Tia says yes. I've noticed I've had a major upgrade in my breath awareness, and I actually dished it out to myself. I kind of assigned it to myself through a recent commitment I made to spend 15 minutes on my sovereign creation of home. And I did this little practice I like to do sometimes where I write about the next day or the day in the morning of the day as if it already happened. And I came up with this whole magical story of everything that I wanted to happen in that day just because I was aware of my breath. And then it was like, bam, that day I was like, woo! And magical things are unfolding. I saw Alkia message something. I'm going to check that out. Alkia said she feels expansion and a feeling of ease into it. Yeah, and oh my gosh, the word it. Here's a tool. Replace it with me or I. Turn it around and also investigate, what is it? How often are we like not recognizing ourselves when we use that word? Or we're using the word, it has the frequency of because instead of be cause. Be the cause, which is the other name that has come through for this journey. anyone else have anything that you noticed that would be a service to us, all of us here tuning in to receive your perception, your experience? Laura says, I feel the magic and all being connected to the source in the center, a welcoming and protected safe circle. Some people were dancing, that's what I saw. Oh, I love that. Tia said, I'm noticing there's a lot of big creative energy in this group. Whew, yeah. And it's funny because Tia and I were, I was sharing this with Tia yesterday on a call. I was like, I realize like I have to breathe deeply to receive like the power of the other people that I'm co-creating with. And this certainly is happening right now where I just feel this, it's like a hunger for breath. And when I haven't been aware of this in the past, I've felt like I can't breathe. And it's something that right now I have to kind of have the will to breathe. Like I have to kind of let it expand, maybe even make the breath expand and release in my body, because the gravity of going unconscious about breath is so strong around this. And that's really what we're doing here with these words, sacred, service, because is that we are opening that aperture of the frequency to a more full spectrum of these archetypes, really. I'm trying to get back to the chat. Okay, there we go. Laurel said, Terry, yes, that. Heather said, a song I sing often, a great longing is upon us to live again in a world made of gifts. Come back, sweet world, where all flourishing is mutual. Sacred service creates mutual flourishing. Oh, thank you. That's so beautiful. And I, of course, want to hear you sing the song in form. How awesome, coming from Heather's bathtub. And I love that we had 2 people that showed up to this call naked. And it's reminding me of, a time when I was like really trying to fit into another tribe. I kept trying maybe these are my people, maybe these are my people. And I'm a heretic, if you know about design. Like I get like harshly booted out of groups. And then it started coming through to me like, oh, well, you just gather the tribe, like just make up your own motley crew of freaks. And that like boggled my mind and scared the shit out of me, and I didn't think it was possible. And now here I am on a call that I'm hosting with 2 people showed up naked. It's happening. Okay, so we're coming to the end of our time, about 10 more minutes because it's 12:01, although we did start the recording a little later. So yeah, like I'm just gonna check in with this comment from Tia. Oh, and Brandy said Randy said she also had to put on a better shirt and make sure your boobs weren't out. Interesting theme. I love it. Yeah, that's something I kind of just don't even check as much to see if my boobs are out. I'm breastfeeding right now, so it's like, yeah, my boobs are probably out. Tia said, yes, Heather, that is what I was just thinking about, how the work for the next paradigm is us expanding our concept and expression of work is part of what we need on the planet. Oh, that just lit up my spleen like Christmas. Yes. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna I'll direct one. I'll ask one more question. If does anybody have any questions, or maybe I should, as a good leader, be starting to tell you some details. It's something that I've been called to do. In my work is not like create too many details. Like I actually haven't picked the dates for this yet. I mean, I've picked the time range. It starts on October 7th, and it goes for 6 weeks. And I've found that before I started working like this, I would really worry a lot and put a lot of energy into trying to basically like read the future and push moments from the into the present moment. And before the people start connecting and coming in, like it really doesn't exist. So and you know, by this time for the last journey, I had the dates all picked out that were our call dates and such, but I don't know, for whatever reason I haven't done it yet. But it starts October 7th. Today is the last day for the early bird price, which is $100 off, or $101 off. It's $3.99 for the early bird. And yeah, if you message me and say you want it, and you need a couple more days, if you're on this call, I'll work with you. And then it's up to $500 after today. And you know, I heard the word. Someone said something about generosity earlier, and you know, this is something that's really it's a value of mine. I love to be generous, and I see just such power in generosity. So you know, I love to create these containers so that, you know, I can be generous. And I feel that, you know, actually, you know, starting to work in this way with some smaller programs, some smaller journeys that are 6 weeks, is part of how I'm making my work more accessible, and to be generous in that way. And let's see, what else? It's just like a little clunky on my phone, but I think I'm flowing. I'm flowing. Laura said, price and date is enough for me, haha. Yeah, because it kind of gets in the way of the details, and it starts to direct our attention to what's not important, you know, like one of my coaching mentors, I haven't worked with him directly, but he was my coach's coach for 3 years, and I read anything he writes. Steve Chandler, you know, he says in you know, in having an enrollment conversation with someone, to never leave it in the realm of affordability. Like, that is not in service to your gift, and it's not in service to that person to guide them into a place of, can they afford you? And I love this, and it can feel kind of edgy, you know, to even speak about these kinds of things out loud, but it's like, if you have a gift and a service for someone who is or that is going to change their life, you know, it's your job to support them in seeing that, you know, and discovering that, and to not let them get caught up in if they can afford it or not. And it doesn't mean that the money is not addressed, but it's just like, don't leave someone in the realm of affordability, because it's really a lie, like on a spiritual level and on a physical level too. Like, there is plenty There's plenty for all of us. So, you know, when we go into that trip about if we can have something, if we're worthy, if we can afford it, especially when it's something that's like ringing, right? Like it rings in your soul, like, oh my gosh, this is for me. And then that belief pops up, and then you start negotiating, well, can I afford it? And it's like, if it's really for you, there's, can you afford not to? And there's no stopping it. There's really no stopping it. So, you know, this is something that, you know, you may work with to even get into this group, or have worked with to get into another group with me, or private coaching, as a couple of you have. And that experience is so valuable to the people that you serve, to be able to understand how powerful your medicine is when you recognize it, and how devastating it is to ask your bank account first if it's okay if you do something that is like the most sacred gift to you in the moment. And it's from that kind of attitude that we start to engage with the creation process. Let's see, I see a couple more comments. Sharon said, being the most authentic selves is all the work we have. All else will naturally flow from that. I totally agree. That's really all there is. And at the same time, like part of this service, and you know, of sacred service workshop, and the Successful Flow group is to narrow that focus a little bit for us, so that we can like get through some of these more subtle parts that kind of, they hook us. Like they just can seem so subtle. Everything can seem to be flowing along. Things may seem really clear, and then when we get those snags in the energy, and we find ourselves looping and having a similar experience to one in the past that we didn't like or we didn't resonate with, I find that's where it's helpful to narrow the focus a little bit. So these groups they're pretty intensive. They're a quick little dive into the topics that we're working with, which also are, you know, expand way beyond the boundaries of the words that we're using to identify and create with. And that's really what, you know, becoming the gift you are, which starts, I think it's in March of next year, but is that it's a 9-month journey to really just like commit to that, just purifying your own frequency and being who you are, with this greater understanding of all the things that it affects everything. You know, everything. And it can be a little bit out there sometimes, a little bit too far out to like bring it down to a practical level, especially with the shorter journeys, which is why I just expanded it to 9 months this year, or for next year. Okay, so we're here at the end of our time. I just want to check in. Anybody else, anything you'd like to bring, offer, ask? Last call. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for registering. Those of you who registered and also couldn't make it to the call live, you contributed to this energy on the call in a really powerful way. And those of you watching the recording, you may see yourself here. You may hear someone saying something that you say. So that's part of the gift and the service of our connecting today, and I'm so deeply grateful. Yeah, so please contact me if you are feeling a match with this. I'm happy to to connect with you about that. You can also just go and sign up. The early bird is still up right now on the website. And I just invite you to feel into what's possible for you if you come in and play with us in this container. And I love to see your faces and hear your voices. So thank you. I'm going to end the recording now. Okay, bye everybody. I'm just going to hang up because that's the only way. Bye.